Appreciate you coming on Friday. Every week we do this. Every week it's an awesome opportunity for us to appreciate and say thanks to folks in our community and our city employees that are doing great work. Like other weeks, today's no exception, and we've got two great stories to share with you today. One is our Employee of the Week, and then the other one is a combination Friday's Heroes, Good Samaritan, story about a local citizen that saved a life. And we also have the individual here whose life was saved. So this will be an interesting day for all of us. So let's start with Employee of the Week. Miguel Navarrete is here, and this is his wife, Patricia. Miguel works in our IT department. I say IT, it's got longer acronyms for that. Peter Ames is our CIO. He's our Chief Information Officer for the city of Albuquerque at the Department of Technology and Innovation. And we call it Department of Technology and Innovation for a reason, and I'll speak to that in just a moment. Brian Osterloh is also here. Brian's right here. He's the Associate CIO for the Department of Technology and Innovation, where Miguel is part of the team. Let me give you just a little bit of background. We got here 8 years ago. We had a system inside of government that just wasn't up to speed like we thought it needed to be. It wasn't, it's not a knock on any administration or anything. It was just, we just felt like as an organization we needed better software, better systems. We needed better opportunities to do our financial statements, to pay bills, you name it. So we went out and we asked the taxpayers. And on the first bond issue, we got $9 million to do that. So we have spent the last 8 years working to become one of the premier digital cities in America, and we are. We just got ranked, we just passed San Francisco, and we are now at the sixth most digital city in America. We are a national leader in transparency. We have open data sets that are machine readable, lots and lots of jargon. But what it really means is you know a lot more about your government than you did. We're better, more efficient at what we're doing, taking your tax dollars and giving them back to you in services that you need. And this team has been at the head of that effort. All three of these individuals are rock stars. But today is about Miguel and his expedient and efficient work in managing the online presence of the Civilian Police Oversight Agency, CPOA. So as you know, we are in a settlement agreement with the Department of Justice. We are doing many things in police reforms, making it a better department for our officers, making it a better opportunity for our community for constitutional effective policing. We have a new police oversight structure, and to do that, we needed to have a digital component. So Miguel, a dedicated city of Albuquerque employee, has never said no to anything we've asked him, whether it's this or something else. So the way it works is if there's a complaint to the CPOA investigator through an independent investigation, we need to make sure we can track that, make sure it's out there for the community. So Miguel has continually gone above and beyond his duties in aiding the CPOA by regularly assisting in setting up and maintaining their website. He's quick to assist with all of their requests on top of his normal job duties, which are enormous. He'll tell you that that's true. And he's helped citizens also by making sure that they have direct and easy access to the Civilian Police Oversight Agency. One specific example. On the main page of the City of Albuquerque's website, the CPOA requested that he add a link to the APD complaint and commendation form. So that's not just complaining, but that's also saying thanks to our police officers, important on both sides. Within 5 minutes, he had that request done without an error. He's also refined the CPOA's online forms, therefore bringing them into compliance with the settlement agreement that we have with the Department of Justice, and it mandates that those are user-friendly forms. He continues to work on perfecting all of the city's web pages by making them accessible. You may recall that this is not Miguel's first recognition for this award. Back in 2014, in February, he was awarded as the City of Albuquerque's Employee of the Week for taking the lead to raise money for the United Way of Central New Mexico. So that has nothing to do with his day-to-day job. That has a lot to do with a bunch of extra hours for a year working with the business community, working with the United Way of Central New Mexico, and you were over $28 million that year, I think, as you were our liaison. And the City of Albuquerque employees have been generous, and he helped really be part of that. In fact, he exceeded the goal by more than $10,000. Total employee-driven donations were almost $270,000 that year. So he's a good guy. He is great at what he does. he is a can-do person, and when this team took on this heavy lift of making sure that we are a great digital city for all these reasons, you need great people to do that, and Miguel is right at the top of that. Right at the top of the stack, so we appreciate him. I'm going to have Peter Ames give you a few more pieces of information, and then we're going to give Miguel his Employee of the Week. But I just want to say thanks.
Thank you, Peter.
And we want the people that we serve who are also busy, who also have a lot going on in their lives, to be able to take a few minutes of an evening or of a day, if they decide to, and get on and see what their government's doing. And in order to do that, they have to have access to this information, and it has to be quick, easy, it has to work, it has to be complete, and Miguel does that. So, Peter, why don't you say a couple words,
Absolutely.
and then we'll do the certificate.
Well, thank you, Mayor. It's really my privilege to acknowledge Miguel today. I mean, we live in a digital world, and as a city, we need to provide services in a digital fashion. And Miguel, no one knows that better than Miguel. I think that Miguel's background as a journalist, and I know we've gone past the linotype and into but his background in journalism and digital services, and he's got the heart of a servant. He knows why we, as a city, are why it's important to provide these services digitally, and it's all about promoting the services and the departments and the mission of the city in social media and web services, and Miguel does a great job of that. As a matter of fact, I get a compliment about Miguel almost on a daily basis, and we were just standing out here earlier when Chief Green said, "Hey, you know that fireworks app you guys put out there for us last 4th of July, that worked so great for us and made our jobs easier and worked in the community." That was him. That was Miguel. So Miguel does that kind of stuff. So. And he doesn't stand still. He's working on some new technology that I don't want to let the cat out of the bag too early, but he's working on virtual task assistance through voice recognition. So soon you'll be able to use Alexa and Siri and Cortana to request services and get inquiries about the city. So that's going to be ready next week. Okay. Very good.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Miguel.
Miguel, thank you so much. And I think you're also responsible for having my personal credit card statement online. So thanks for that.
Yes, Mayor.
Yeah, that was at my request. So listen, we have a certificate for you that says Employee of the Week, City of Albuquerque, to Miguel Navrat, Department of Technology and Innovation. On behalf of the entire City of Albuquerque, I, Richard J. Berry, Mayor of Albuquerque, thank you for your public service and your dedication. Your actions exceeded the call of duty and went beyond normal expectations. And for the entire week of April 24th, you are entitled to all privileges set forth by the Office of the Mayor as Employee of the Week. We have a letter for your personnel file, and we want you to be super caffeinated, so we give you another coffee. You got 2 of those now.
3.
So yeah, 3 of them, so you just keep one full all the time, right?
Awesome.
I appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you so much.
For all the great work that you do.
Just a minute.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, I
Please
just
do.
want to,
Please,
I
please.
feel that I'm just doing my job, but at that, I just also wanted to say thank you for your support and the support of your communications office with Rhiannon, of course, with Brian and Peter, everything that they've done. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my wife. I can't tell you how many calls I get after hours dealing with city work. That's text or phone mail or something that has to do when we're at dinner or on the weekend or traveling on vacation overseas, our honeymoon. So yes, she couldn't be more supportive. Couldn't be more supportive. So I thank you so much for everything.
All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
it.
Thank you as well.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. So today is a story about a life saved, and it's a story about a community that really cares, about a fire department that is great at what they do, an ambulance company, EMS folks that have been well trained, and because of that, we've got one of our good, a good friend and a citizen here who's joining us, and I'll tell you about it here in just a minute. We're going to be recognizing a team of first responders and a quick-acting Good Samaritan for swiftly responding to a gentleman who was in cardiac arrest, who is Paul Chandler, who's with us today. Paul, thank you for being here. We appreciate you doing that. This week's Good Samaritan is Patrick Allen, who is right here. And the other Friday's heroes are Albuquerque Fire Department, Unit 78 Paramedic Captain Santos Garcia. Waving. Engine 3, Lieutenant Lawrence Woods couldn't be here. Firefighter Ryan Cheshire also couldn't be here. Firefighter Michael Lucero is off, but firefighter Matthew Trujillo is here, yes? Thank you, sir. Rescue 13, Lieutenant Chavez is with us here. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Driver Matthew Chinchilla, thank you for being here. And then Albuquerque Ambulance Service EMT Alan Scott and paramedic Thomas Rogers. And I missed someone. Who did I miss?
I'm Dr. Habrat with the EMS Consortium at UNM.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. So in March of 2017, that's last month,
Yeah, March 9th.
March 9th, friends, Patrick and Paul, were finishing up trimming a tree when suddenly Paul grabbed his chest, collapsed on the floor, went unconscious, and stopped breathing. That's not a good thing, as we know. Patrick quickly reacted by first checking Paul's pulse. When he couldn't find one, he immediately began performing CPR on his friend. Moments later, the homeowner whose tree Patrick and Paul were trimming realized that Paul's emergency was an emergency and called 911. Patrick performed CPR on his friend for approximately 5 minutes. Then AFD Engine 3, the crew arrived on scene, took over CPR, and provided basic life support services for Paul, who did not yet have a pulse, nor was he breathing. Rescue 13 paramedics arrived, and Unit 78 paramedic Captain Garcia, along with AAS EMT Scott and paramedic Rogers, intervened, and an automated external defibrillator, an AED, was applied to Paul. You've seen those around town. You see them at gyms, you see them at the airport and public buildings, and of course our firefighters carry them as well. After AFD and the Albuquerque ambulance crews performed CPR for 10 to 15 minutes, Paul started breathing and regained a pulse. While Paul was en route to the hospital, the crews used Engine 3's LifePak 15 monitor to transmit an EKG and the serial EKG in advance to the hospital's emergency room so that they knew what they were dealing with. And they diagnosed him with, and I'm going to say this wrong, acute myocardial infarction.
That's right.
Or heart attack. Once Albuquerque ambulance and Paul arrived at the hospital, he was immediately taken into the cath lab, where he was found to have an occlusion in his left main and left circumflex arteries, and basically a stent was put in to save his life. Several weeks after Paul's life-threatening experience, paramedic Captain Garcia stopped to visit Paul to see how he was doing. So think about that too. Just stopping by to see how it's going. At the time, Paul explained that he had experienced slight memory loss but was recovering. And thankfully, Patrick is a member of the Sandia Ski Patrol. I see your shirt on today. So he's a guy that's in good shape. And as part of his membership, he's required to renew his CPR certification annually. Because of Patrick's strong desire to help others and because of his swift, heroic actions by performing CPR on his friend Paul, Paul is alive and with us today and looking good, my friend.
Thank you.
If Patrick had not performed CPR and the first responders had not quickly intervened, we'd be here with a much different story. So for these reasons, Patrick Allen is being recognized as this week's Good Samaritan Award, and AFD Unit 78, Paramedic Captain Garcia, Engine 3, Rescue 13, and Albuquerque Ambulance Services are being recognized as Friday's heroes. So let me just, before I think I'm going to have Chief Downey's going to come up and give a few remarks. Is that correct? Chief Downey's here with us. I just want to say that it's important to learn CPR. You can learn CPR very quickly, very easily. Dr. Ramos got a great program he teaches. We've got a great program through the American Red Cross. You can learn through many civic organizations. I went and learned, and the new CPR is now you don't use your breath anymore. It's just all hands. You can learn that in 45 minutes. It is not difficult to learn. It is it's something that we should all really be thinking about as a community. And I assume we're still using Pulse Point.
We are.
You can still sign up for the Pulse Point app in Albuquerque, which if you sign up for that and somebody in our community has a cardiac arrest and you're within a certain distance, it will notify you. And you may just get the chance to be that Good Samaritan that shows up while we're waiting those few critical minutes for fire and ambulance to show up. So it's something that is kind of incumbent upon all of us. Let's just get out there and be able to take care of our friends and family and our neighbors when we need to. So I want to have Dave Downey come up and give a few remarks, and then we'll give out some coins and some certificates here.
Great.
So, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor.
Several years ago, the mayor came to the fire department and said, we want to do more to increase the survival rates when we have cardiac arrests in the city of Albuquerque. So for the last several years, we've been promoting hands-on CPR, and as the mayor mentioned, the Pulse Point application. And this is an example of exactly how the system in our city should work. CPR for 5 minutes. The statistic is for every minute that somebody that's having a heart attack does not get CPR, their chances of survival go down 10% every minute. So you provided him all by yourself to 50% chance of survival by doing CPR on the spot for 5 straight minutes. And the longer you go without bystander CPR, the less likely survival. So the combination of training the community and community members like yourself, Patrick, stepping up, and then the robust response between both Albuquerque Fire Department and Albuquerque Ambulance in partnership between basic life support, advanced life support, and then the mayor mentioned the technology that we now have to where patients don't have to go to the emergency room to be reassessed by a physician. They can see what's happening en route and go right to the lab, and in this case get a stent much faster than continuing heart death can occur as we wait in the emergency room. So this is a perfect example of how a cardiac arrest should be handled in the city. Civilians, agencies, hospitals, all together to have the great outcome that we have today, and we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to hand out some coins here to folks involved, and we also have some certifications and other things that we'll do. Is that for?
Yes, this is for Patrick.
That's for Patrick. Okay, so let me just start off by handing some of our Friday's Heroes coins. These coins were commissioned several years ago. They say Mayor's Public Safety Heroes Award, and they have emergency police, fire, and emergency management on them. And it's just a token of our appreciation for what you do out there every single day in the community. We really do have, our fire department are we missing one?
No.
Got one there. Here we go here. And who am I missing?
That one was also going to go to Patrick.
All right, so I want to give that one to Patrick, and man, I want you to have one too, because you're the reason for the celebration today, and so you might as well get. I had a heart attack, and all I got was a button. But thank you, Paul, also for being here as well. And then for Patrick, we have another mug. We love our mugs around here. And then we have a Samaritan award, and it reads, this certificate is awarded to Patrick Allen. On behalf of the entire city of Albuquerque, I, Richard J. Berry, Mayor of Albuquerque, thank you for your dedication to the citizens of our community. You have been granted this award because you have displayed an extraordinary level of care and compassion, caring for your fellow neighbor. So we're grateful, man, and we're a city full of great people. And this is just another example of why I say that every single day. And then we want you to have a Friday's Heroes coin as well. So
Thank you, sir.
Great story, man. Thanks so much.
Well,
Appreciate you being here.
Thank this guy.
You bet. You bet. And I know that.
And these guys.
I know. Yes, absolutely. And I know the media. You want to say? I mean, you're welcome to say something, or you can do one-on-ones, or you can just. You want to say something?
I'll say a little
Say something.
Sure.
Hop in there. I think your grandmother Patricia's here. Yes.
Yes, she is, right over
Hey,
there.
hi, ma'am. How are you?
Anyway, I just wanted to say I don't really consider myself a hero. I mean, this is just something that anyone could do with the right training, and you never think you'll be in one of these situations until it happens. But just finding out the right thing to do and remembering that, when something actually happens, it can make a big difference, as it has with Paul. And I also want to say I really appreciate our fire department and ambulance service, and all our emergency services, I think, do a fantastic job, day in, day out, just working to help everyone in Albuquerque. So thank you.
How important, Patrick, if you don't mind,
Sure. Yeah.
how important, Patrick, is it to know CPR?
Oh, it's extremely important. I mean, frankly, if I hadn't known it, Paul would be dead right now. So it's literally, it can mean the difference between life and death, knowing CPR. And it's an easy class. It's not one that's particularly challenging, but it's very important. I think everybody should take the time to learn it. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Stick around. We'll take a few pictures.